This morning we talked about how precious human body is difficult to obtain, and having obtained, how it is important not to waste it. And then we talked about how everyone has the potential to develop the bodhicitta. In a way, these two stanzas also explains the vessel, the perfect vessel, the physical vessel of human body and the mental vessel of a mere momentary kind thought. As long as you have these two vessels, then bodhicitta can be contained, bodhicitta can be planted, nurtured, and multiplied. And the next stanza talks about how should I put it? How Shantideva is saying bodhicitta and only bodhicitta is appropriate, given the fact that we rarely have virtuous thought. We rarely engage in virtuous deeds or actions, and we are so kind of home with non-virtuous thoughts and actions. We just do it without any sort of we have developed this habit of finding it so difficult to have even a moment of virtuous thoughts, and we have this habit of finding it so easy it's almost to your second nature to have non-virtuous thoughts and actions. So, according to this rate, the way our habit functions, it's almost impossible for beings like us to become what we call perfect being. Shantideva therefore is suggesting that only the bodhicitta has the power and the ability to undo this habitual knot. Only the virtue of bodhicitta can outshine all the other virtue. Again, as all his stanzas, this is making a very big statement. You will hear this quite extensively in this chapter. As Chandradeva himself said, that he has taught this based on the sutras. There is one sutra where Buddha talked about bodhicitta. And the example is quite extreme. In the Sarvakayana path, that is a standard sort of Buddhist path, like through the stages of vipassana, shamatha and vipassana. Through the shamatha, we stabilize our mind, we make our mind malleable, we make our mind workable, trainable, so to speak. We make our mind listen to us, instead of us listening to our mind and its wanting and its wishes and its desire. That's what the shamatha is supposedly for. And then we apply the vipassana. Here in the vipassana, not only our goal is to make the mind malleable and trainable, but actually to see the truth of everything, truth of our existence, truth of our life, truth of impermanence, truth of suffering, truth of nature of everything that is inherently, substantially not finding anything that is truly existing or inherently existing. So through the different stages of the vipassana, you then go through, you achieve all this sort of achievement, something like achievement. Then final stage is what we call arhat. There, when you reach that stage, you basically destroy all the emotions, negative emotions that makes you return, that makes you lose your concentration, that makes you return to the samsara. Basically, an arhat does not come back to the samsara. So we are talking about a very, 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 amazing stage, really amazing stage. An arhat, according to the sutra, it is said that for an arhat, a size of the palm and the sky is equal. A handful of a dust and the, earth full of gold is same. Somebody praising from one side, the other criticizing from the other side, it's just an echo. So on and so forth. Arhat is an amazing achievement. But listen to this. This is what Mahayana Sutra said. Let's say there's 500 arhats sitting on an empty chariot. Nobody, no horse, nobody is there to drag. And suddenly Buddha walks by. The arhats have not, they might have enough merit. These 500 arhats collectively, they might have enough merit to ask the Buddha to drag the chariot with his feet. And the Mahayana Sutra says, but certainly, if there is somebody, forget about having the bodhicitta, but somebody like us who have heard the name of the bodhicitta, hops into the chariot, then that is good enough. Because of this person's merit, Buddha will drag the chariot with his neck. This is Buddha's his own statement. There are just countless and pages and pages and pages of the power of the bodhicitta. Here, as a commentary to the Mahayana Sutras, Shantideva is basically summarizing that there is no greater virtue. Now, one may ask the question, why is that? Because, as I said in the morning, again and again, bodhicitta is one of the only path that really combines the method and wisdom in, completely. Now some of you may find this as a very usual Mahayana chauvinism, Mahayana elitism, speaking. But anyway, since we are choosing a Mahayana Shastra, we have no choice but to talk from the Mahayana point of view. And I should stress this, I guess I should tell you this, that for many Buddhist situations, such as the Theravada situation, Sarvakayana situation basically, Mahayana may not be even considered as the Buddha Dharma, that it was taught by the Buddha. But these are completely different matter now. Okay. To illustrate this a little bit more, in the Sarvakayana path, in the Sarvakayana school, so-called non-virtuous deeds such as lying, killing, stealing are all non-virtuous, and that's it, full stop. A follower of such path should refrain from that. Now, in the Mahayana, once you take the Mahayana path, if for certain situation, if you don't steal, if you don't lie, if you don't kill even, you may be breaking the Bodhisattva rule. So, in this way, the Mahayana path is very daring and it's one of the big steps of pulling the rug out of our feet. It's really big. I guess I'm just thinking these are just so many. This is like a Pandora box. It opens a lot of issues here. But I guess as we go along the text, you will hear it. Okay, so only basic here, what you need to understand is only the bodhicitta can outshine, or only the bodhicitta excels from all the other virtue. And then it continues. Tathagatas of the past, who have done so much study and hearing and contemplation and meditation, all the Tathagatas unanimously saw the path of the bodhicitta as the most beneficial path. It is also the path that can liberate limitless sentient beings without much hardship. It is the path that will destroy limitless or hundreds different kinds of suffering from the sentient beings. Those who wish to rescue beings from different ailment, those who wish to enjoy 100 different enjoyment, they shall not let go the bodhicitta. If a bodhicitta develops within an ordinary being, even a being, an ignorant being like you and me, instantly we become the heir of the Buddha. We also instantly, the moment the bodhicitta even momentarily appears in the mind of the ordinary being, this ordinary being is the object of homage, not only by human, but even by gods. There are so many sort of stories and examples accompanied with all these stanzas. I'm afraid that I'll have to kind of cover a little bit of stanzas here, otherwise we might have to reincarnate in Pune again and again. But I will also let you ask questions after a while, so that you can clarify whatever you want to. There's also a little bit of, maybe insinuation is not the right word, but I can't find a correct word. In many religions, also in Buddhism, like in the Sarvakayana path, there is this attitude that our body is not good, it is dirty, it is, there's a little bit of looking down at the body. I think, is that kind of attitude. And Shantadeva's answer to that is, if bodhicitta is planted, then like alchemy, art of alchemy, the body, this very body that we have, it may appear to be impure, impermanent, it may decay, etc. But the body of ours has become suddenly very precious, because it is through this body we will develop the body of the Buddha. For this reason, the wise ones must firmly embrace the mind of the bodhicitta. Do you want to ask some questions? If I may have gone too fast. One example is the next stanza. I think in ancient India there is this custom of going to islands, the oceans, to find jewels. And the expert throw away many sort of semi-precious jewels and keep the most precious ones, because it, otherwise the boat will sink. Here, Shantideva is saying the Buddhas and the Bodhisattvas have decided that among many virtuous thoughts and actions and the method, the bodhicitta is found the most precious. Okay, please ask the question.
So my question is basically, see, in the Theravada tradition, what we learn is the Buddha shows the path to liberation, but does not really bestow liberation on the disciple or on the follower, like in other theist religions. Now, when we say that the Bodhisattvas, they liberate, their vow is to liberate people. Now, what kind of liberation is that? Is it just a kind of a freedom from our regular sufferings, or is it actually the nirvana which we are talking about? And if that is so, then how do they really do it? Means, is it by making them bodhisattvas, or how? Means that's
very good. This is a classic question. Okay. I will answer this in one or two different stage and sort of levels. First of all, in Mahayana Buddhism, wishing and working for enlightenment of oneself, without involving the others, without thinking about the others, it's almost like a contradictory. This is how they think. Because this is really Pandora. Now we are opening the Pandora box here. Because there is no, ultimate. You see, this is why the path of the union of relative truth and ultimate truth gets so complicated, unless you are quite used to this one. Because the other, just myself, other, not involving others or involving others, all of this, if you think only about yourself but not others, that in Mahayana's here it is a contradiction, because others and self do not really exist. It really does not exist. That's one level. Yes, Buddha have said this. He said, I cannot wipe away the suffering of sentient beings. I cannot transfer my realization to the sentient beings. Only yourself, only you can, with your own effort, you shall liberate yourself. Something like that. This is what Buddha said. This is still very much accepted in in the Mahayana path. But in a much broader sense, how should I put it? Because the Mahayana have the view of dependent arising, that everything is dependent. This will be thoroughly explained as the chapter goes by. For instance, like how should I put it? Like when we talk about the patience here in the one of the chapter, Shantideva says, how the enemy, let's say there's an enemy that you are so angry with, how the enemy is so precious, because only through the enemy we can develop the bodhicitta, the patience, so on and so forth. So there's so much dependent arising nature. So based on the idea of dependent arising, we can create situations, circumstances, therefore we can create conditions for others to be enlightened. And so through this way, liberating sentient beings is, possible. Okay, so that's one way. The another way is, okay, in the Pranidhana Raja, this is the Mahayana's aspiration. It comes in the Avatamsaka Sutra towards the end. And the summary of the aspiration is Namkitatu Juba Jisamba Semche Malutayan Tejin the Jisam Ladonyomo Tajiba Dagi Manam Tayan Tetamo. As long as there is a sky, there is sentient beings. And as long as there is emotions, there is ignorant beings. My aspiration will also last till that long. Something like that. So basically, the aim of the aspiration of the Mahayana Buddhism is endless. Ordinarily when we talk about a wish, we dare to wish for something that has a result, that has an end. But the bodhisattvas wish. So in a way, okay, like a Siddhigarbha and Samantabhadra bodhisattvas, basically they are their aspiration is never to be enlightened. I don't know whether that makes sense. Their aspiration is never ever to be enlightened until all sentient beings are enlightened. Now, we have to hear this in many different ways. One way is this actually exists even in the general Buddhist concept. You know, we don't think about beginning, and therefore we also don't think about end. The ultimate beginning, ultimate end, all this do not really exist. A little bit complicated concept, this one. So, the limitless, the words like limitless, boundless, measureless, immeasurable view, immeasurable compassion. Within this context, we then think about giving enlightenment to all sentient beings. So when we say this all, we are really talking about all. And it is not even arbitrary, it's not like a wishful thinking like a world peace. It's actually a doable, achievable task. That's how okay, I will summarize this. So now, as Professor Divkar's question, I will give a similar question here. So we can then ask, has the bodhisattvas of the past and the Buddha's aspiration, have they been fulfilled? You cannot really say they have not been fulfilled, because they are Buddhas, they are the omnipotent, they have the power. If their aspiration doesn't work, then how can our aspiration work? If it has worked, their aspiration, the thousands of the Buddhas of the past, if their aspiration worked, meaning their aspiration was, may all sentient beings become enlightened, then what are we doing here? Why are we not enlightened? So answer to this is that actually in the Buddha's viewpoint, we are all enlightened. There is no problem at all. If you have any argument with this, SP, Badri.
Rinpoche, just wanted to clarify a couple of things. One is, are the people who follow the Shravakayana and who gradually become Arhants, are they really aware of the choice at any point that they could either follow the Shravakayana or the Bodhisattvayana? And do they make a choice? And if they do make a choice, what is the basis of that choice? Secondly, are there any cases where somebody has switched over from Shravakayana to Bodhisattvayana?
Obviously, you will hear the answer from a Mahayana point of view. Because according to the Shravakayana, there is no Mahayana, right? So there's no choice anyway. This is an ongoing argument, by the way. Although I have to say, there are many Theravadins, Sharvakas, in the past and now, they completely accept Mahayana path too. And there's a lot of misgivings from the Mahayana people. So that we have to keep in mind. Choice. Okay, first I will say, according to the Mahayana sutras, it's believed that many of these arhats, they will be woken up from the Nirodha state by the light of the Buddha, and then they will pursue the higher stage of the Mahayana path and then achieve enlightenment. There's a very clear analogy given by Chandrakirti. He said that Charvakayana, and there's another one, Pratyakayana, these stages, these achievements or accomplishments are placed by categorized by the Buddha as when, I guess those days when merchants go in the sea, long voyage, many months, they get so tired. And when they see the island, they get sort of, they feel restful and they feel happy. Likewise, struggle in the samsara is so difficult. Struggle to the path, to the Buddhahood is so difficult. Especially in the Mahayana, we are talking about eons after eons, 3 countless eons. So, it is good to encourage some of these beings to place a special position. One is also motivation. There are certain type of people whose only motivation is to get the hell out of the samsara. From the Mahayana point of view, it's a slightly cowardly thinking. This attitude of wanting to get the hell out of this. But it's understandable, for some people. Other reason is capacity and what we call capacity of sense and faculties. It's like this. Okay, maybe I should tell you in a classic way. This is, it supposedly Buddha taught 3 times the bigger teachings. The first sermon, mainly like the teachings like Four Noble Truths, teachings that were given in places like Saranath. He was mainly aiming towards those who think negatively and non-virtuously. So there he may even use words like I, son of Chudodana, when I was a bird, when I was a monkey, okay? Indicating there is a self. Because his aim is to lure those who has the habit of really completely engrossed with non-virtuous thoughts and actions. So somehow you have to give them the teachings on karma, rebirth, etc. And then, for some, or for those who are more matured, then he began to teach things like selflessness. So, in a place like Rajgir, there he began to teach things like Prajna Paramita. This is mainly Mahayana now. There he taught about nothing exists. Not even the path, not even the nirvana. No, not even the nirvana. This is difficult to chew for a lot of people. It's important to give somebody, some people, something to chew on, some sort of a path. There he really deconstructs everything. For instance, like the Heart Sutra. It's a big, big Mahayana sutras. Then, another place, another time, even this notion of emptiness is deconstructed. Then he introduced the notion of the Buddha nature, Tathagata Garbha. So, different capacities, different wish. But if you are asking whether they can choose in the future, yes, supposedly they choose according to the Mahayana. Did I answer your question?
Yes, thank you.
Okay.
Thank you.
SP?
If we go back to our discussion of conventional truth and ultimate truth, then this whole cycle of birth and death, from which the arhat is trying to get out of,
Yes.
would be all on the conventional level.
Yes.
Therefore, if an arhat thinks that he has got out of it,
Yes.
it's just a mental perception.
Yes.
He's not really got out of anything.
Right. Very good.
On the other hand, the Mahayana Bodhisattva has taken a vow that he will be reborn in this conventional truth level to
Yes.
help liberate other beings.
Yes.
So for him, samsara and nirvana is same. He has achieved nirvana when he takes rebirth according to his choice to help
Yes.
others. So then samsara and nirvana become the same.
Yes.
So if they are same, that means their ultimate nature is same, which is emptiness.
Yes.
I'm just saying all this to confirm whether I've understood.
Yes, yes, very good.
And then you say, after that came the concept of Buddha nature. But my sort of understanding has always been that even this Buddha nature is marked by emptiness. Is that a correct statement?
Yes, very much.
So if we were to do an organizational chart,
Yes. Can you please?
then we would have to put, like as the CEO, right on top of the emptiness.
Yes.
And after that there will be branches.
Wait. On the CEO?
No, what I mean is, if you were to draw a sort of a hierarchy of phenomena, then you would put emptiness right on top, and then you might have, say, two branches, conditioned phenomena, unconditioned phenomena. Then within conditioned phenomena, you could have more branches, impermanent, permanent, eternal, not
Yes.
But right at the top would be emptiness.
That depends who you are. No, this is serious question.
I follow, okay.
This is serious question. Now you are talking about, this, after lunch usually it's kind of drowsy. And afternoon is not the best time to discuss this heavy subject, but he brought it up, so please blame him if it's getting too much.
I also had to wake up.
Okay. But it depends, because now here you are talking about really nitty-gritty, you are becoming very meticulous here. But because you asked, this is an important question. It has even created a different way of interpretation, even in India. So there, the top chart, CEO. Yes, you said it looks like you are inclined to put emptiness there. Just because you are influenced by marketer like Nagarjuna and Chandrakirti. That's why.
Right.
That's why. If you have been associating with people like Asanga and Vasubandhu, now those are great people too, you cannot ignore them. You would be putting Tathagata Garbha, not necessarily emptiness.
And that would be a real difference of opinion, not just a notional thing.
No, this is big. It's very big. In fact, this is very, very big. And it's the Asanga and the Vasubandhu gang. They actually, if you think about the population-wise, I would say the Asanga and the what Vasubandhu people, I think they may have more people. Whole China, whole Japan. I think that Zen and all that, I have a feeling they're all, don't you think, Asuki? Asanga, all that. They all do read, Hat Sutra, all of that, but Bodhicitta, Tathagata Garbha is a very big deal.
So when you said that from the Buddha's viewpoint, we are all already enlightened Buddhas, is it because of this stress on Buddha nature, which is a potential, or is it something else? Are you saying that from the Buddha's point of view, we are all Buddhas, enlightened Buddhas, because we have that Buddha nature and therefore the potential to become Buddhas?
I guess for the sake of communication, we have to use the word enlightened.
I see.
But in reality, it's not even enlightened because we have never been ignorant. You see?
Mm-hmm. I'll think about it.
Is it?
No, I see the problem, yeah.
What is the problem?
You can start with emptiness and forget about enlightenment. If you say you're already enlightened, then there never was. So even ignorance and enlightenment are marked by emptiness, according to Nagarjuna then.
Yes. Well, it has created a lot of divisions too. Even in Tibet, if you talk to Kagyupas, Nyingmapas, especially Kagyupas, some of the Sakyapas, they might be more inclined to the Tathagata Garbha. And in the Buddhist, since we are in an academic situation partially, I should present you this. This is interesting for you to notice. In classic Buddhist schools, in the Tibetan tradition, we study both. But there is a strategy how we study. And it's quite an interesting one. We study emptiness first. The last subject, after 17 year, 9 year, 22 year, the last stage, just before you become Geshe or Kempo or when you finish your degree, the last book we study is the Uttaratantara, which is about Tathagata Garbha. This is a strategy. And it is again the strategy actually implemented by the Buddha himself. A very beautiful example Buddha gave elsewhere in a sutra. I think it is the Samadhi Raja Sutra, where he said, if a doctor prescribe or advise a mother who has this baby who can't digest the milk, for a certain period of time, doctor would, but the baby really wants the milk, but the mother is not supposed to breastfeed. So then doctor suggests the mother put something bitter on the nipple so that baby will gradually shy away from the breast milk. Then after 2 weeks, when the baby is healthy, the doctor knows that actually milk is very important for the ongoing health of the baby. In fact, that is the most important. So now we have to lure him back. So then, mother has to put sweets or something like this. Likewise, Buddha said, in order to really dismantle this concrete clinging to the self, we have to teach emptiness first. Once that is established properly, then Buddha will bring the Buddha nature.
Just one last thing. I think especially in Japan, this whole idea that I'm already a Buddha,
Yes.
had led to quite a few problems even with monks, because if I'm already a Buddha, then I'm already in that ultimate reality. I can screw around, I can do what I want. I'm after all doing everything from the Buddha ground, you know. So therefore, maybe common morality and precepts don't apply to me. After all, I've already become Buddha.
Yeah. That
So
is a
that
very...
was a, I think, I don't know, was it called Hongaku?
Yeah,
or
not
something?
only...
Hongaku. huh.
Not only Japan, this exists, practically speaking, this exists in many, many different, situations. That's fairly easy to answer. Well, if you are already Buddha, meaning you have already realized the truth, then you should try to skip lunch and dinner and then see what happens. If you are getting hungry and if you are getting thirsty, then probably you still have the illusion of samsara going on. So you can't really use that, excuse. So that's the only thing you can tell. Okay, let's have a break.
Thank you very much.
Thank you. Let's have a break, 10 minutes break, please.